chapter 54. Sing, O barren, you that did not bear. Break forth into singing, and cry aloud, you that didst not travail. For more are the children of the desolate than the children of the married wife, saith the Lord. Enlarge the place of your tent, and let them stretch forth the curtains of your habitations. Spare not, lengthen your cords, and strengthen your stakes. For you shall spread abroad on the right hand and on the left, and your seed shall possess the nations, and make desolate cities to be inhabited. Fear not, for you shall not be ashamed, neither be you confounded, for you shall not be put to shame. For you shall forget the shame of your youth, and the reproach of your widowhood shall you remember no more. For your Maker is your husband, the Lord of hosts is his name, and the Holy One of Israel is your Redeemer. The God of the whole earth shall he be called. For the Lord hath called you as a wife, forsaken and grieved in spirit, and a wife of the youth. Can she be rejected, saith your God? For a small moment have I forsaken you, but with great compassion will I gather you. In a little wrath I hid my face from you, and for a moment, but with everlasting kindness will I have compassion on you, saith the Lord your Redeemer. For this is as the waters of Noah unto me. For as I have sworn that the waters of Noah should no more go over the earth, so have I sworn that I would not be wroth with you, rebuke you. For the mountains may depart, and the hills be removed, but my kindness shall not depart from you, neither shall my covenant of peace be removed, saith the Lord that hath compassion on you. O you afflicted, tossed with tempest, and not comforted, behold, I will set your stones in fair colors, and lay your foundations with sapphires, and I will make your pinnacles of rubies, and your gates of carbuncles, and all your border of precious stones. And all your children shall be taught of the Lord, and great shall be the peace of your children. In righteousness shall you be established. Be you far from oppression, for you shall not fear, and from ruin, for it shall not come near you. Behold, they may gather together, but not by me. Whosoever shall gather together against you shall fall because of you. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the fire of coals, and bringeth forth a weapon for his work. And I created the waster to destroy. No weapon that is formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against you in judgment you shall condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their due reward from me, saith the Lord. All right, let's go back up to verse 1. Now, in yesterday's chapter, we were discussing and something that wouldn't be believed if these ones who this was happening to had told you. But now God has revealed, God is showing his arm even in the world. God is showing his great strength that there is a God. See, there is a God, and he has controlled all these things. You wouldn't have believed Israel because you can't see God. He's not something that you can see. He's not something that is there that you can lay hands on. But Israel is a nation that God made out of one man, even promising even Abraham that he would make a great nation, and many nations even from his seed, and Israel being just representing one of them, which went on to be 12 nations even in itself. And we described Israel in this one that God brought up, and he was this one even brought forth out of a dry place. He even brought forth up out of idolatry, and God blessed him. And we see that God punished him even through time, and he didn't understand that God was punishing him. He didn't understand that God had set the fires around him and that he was being burned. He didn't understand these things. So he went on. But also now, we were also describing something else. We were also now describing the work of the craftsman and the work in which he is made, and what it's going to look like exactly to a T. Because, see, the craftsman has done a cunning work and a great work. But we're going to find, see, God made the craftsman. God declared these things. God said this is what it'll be. And there it is. And God done all this, see. God done all this. Verse 1. Sing, O barren, you that did not bear. Break forth into singing, and cry aloud, you that did not travail. For more are the children of the desolate than the children of the married wife, saith the Lord. Sing, O barren. And we know who this is. This is that even that virgin daughter of Jerusalem. This is that virgin daughter who did not bring forth, who was now caused to go away like a widow. And remember, she had those ones, and she said, "Now where'd all these come from? For I've been set aside. I've been an exile. I've been in exile." And this is the truth, because we're talking about this not this exact individual, but this understanding of it, even. And what has happened is God has done a great work in here. See, God has done a great and marvelous work that everybody can see. See, God declared it even, and He raised it up. God set it up, but God done this. God did this, and God gets the glory. Nobody else. He said, I'm not going to give my glory to another. That's why He did it. He done a marvelous work, because the ways of God are not like ours. Not like ours. Verse 2, enlarge the place of your tent, and let them stretch forth the curtains of your habitations. Spare not, lengthen your cords, and strengthen your stakes. Because God has added. God has added in His flock. See, because God did this. God called all of them together. God called everybody together because He wants to have talk. He wants to have a word. He wants to plead with you now. He wants to reckon together. See, consider now the strength of God in all the earth. 3. For you shall spread abroad on the right hand and on the left, and your seed shall possess the nations, and make desolate cities to be inhabited. These places that God has parched, these places that God has brought down, even Jerusalem. This one even made an example of it. See, God has done this. God worked all this. Spread abroad, on the right hand and on the left, in your work and in your joy. You're going to be caused to possess the nations, all these that God has gathered together, even all these, He says, all these that gather together. See, God has done this. 4, fear not, for you shall not be ashamed, neither be you confounded, for you shall not be put to shame. For you shall forget the shame of your youth, and the reproach of your widowhood shall you remember no more. Fear not. God's going to comfort you. God comforts you. See, God comforts you in your understanding. God did this great and marvelous work. They don't understand these things, just like Israel did not understand them. See, the servant is finally learning his lesson. The servant finally learning his lesson and having understanding that God is great, God is mighty. Be obedient to the law. God gave it to you for your own good. And we even see these as the problems in the earth. This is exactly what's going on. But you ain't going to be ashamed, Israel. Why? For your God has delivered you. Your God has redeemed you. 5. For your Maker is your husband. The Lord of hosts is His name. And the Holy One of Israel is your Redeemer. The God of the whole earth shall He be called. Why? Because He did this great marvelous work. See, the pot is not greater than the potter. It can't be. The potter is the one who tramples the clay. The potter's the one who sets it on the wheel. He spins the wheel, and he worketh the clay with his hands, see. And the clay can't say to the potter, you don't have any understanding. 6, for the Lord has called you as a wife, forsaken and grieved in spirit, and a wife of the youth, can she be rejected, saith the Lord? And like a wife of your youth, a wife of your first love, you can't reject your wife of your first love. See, this is what this insinuates. This is what this intention of this is. For the Lord called Israel as a wife, even in the beginning. See, God called them out. Even the wife of His youth. A wife is for 7. For a small moment have I forsaken you, but with great compassion will I gather you. See, and God has gathered. God has done this. God has caused this work. See, God has set it up so God can open the eye and you can have understanding that it is God that does all this work in the earth. 8. In a little wrath I hid my face from you for a moment, but with everlasting kindness will I have compassion on you, saith the Lord your Redeemer. And in a little moment he hid his face from you. For a moment, just for a moment, see, and we know God hid his face. He turned away. He's turned away now. And this is in judgment. When God turns away and looks away, he looks to judgment. And this is what's been in the earth. This is what's going on in all the earth. And God has even made a great example of it. A marvelous work, a wonderful work. 9. For this is as the waters of Noah unto me. For as I have sworn that the waters of Noah should no more go over the earth, so have I sworn that I would not be wroth with you, nor rebuke you. Just like he swore that the waters would no longer cover the earth with Noah. See, Noah. Peace. Noah is the dove. And just like he promised Noah. And if we go back and we read that story of Noah, see, Noah started telling everybody. He said, the earth's going to be destroyed by a flood. And he started building this great ark in the middle of nowhere, and everybody laughed at Noah. And they went around. Noah was building his little ark there, and everybody's laughing and just making fun of Noah. But, you know, they did this for 120 years. Did they make fun of Noah? And this was for judgment and redemption both. Did they do this? Because that's what come out of it. God judged the earth, and he redeemed his servant. And because that's the point of it. From the beginning, God has been seeking to show he can redeem and judge. And in one stroke, he did both. 10. For the mountains may depart, and the hills be removed, but my kindness shall not depart from you, neither shall my covenant of peace be removed, saith the Lord, that hath compassion on you. And his covenant of peace, that you be obedient to the law, see, that you exercise your wisdom, that you exercise your knowledge, that you might have understanding, that you be obedient to the law. This is the great covenant of peace. See, if you're obedient to the law, God has no reason to punish. There's blessing. 11. O you afflicted, tossed with tempest, and not comforted, behold, I will set your stones in fair colors, and lay your foundations with sapphires. All those that are afflicted, all those that are cast there upon the sea, for the Lord doth make the sea roar. You have no understanding. The Lord done this to you. But God has comforted you, see. God has comforted you. God has brought you understanding. You struggle against believing in God. You struggle against this because all the earth believes in an image, and God has told you that in your heart. God has done spoke to you. See, God has comforted you. Behold, he will set your stones like in fair colors. And these stones are these stones that your foundation's going to be laid with. See, he's going to do this. He's going to lay it out, your foundations, with sapphires, precious stones even. He's going to do this. God has made a way. God, 12, and I will make your pinnacles of rubies, and your gates of carbuncle, and all your border of precious stones. Because God is building you a palace. God is building you a place. See, God is preparing. 13, and all your children shall be taught of the Lord, and great shall be the peace of your children. And this is what God is going to do. See, and even in this end time, even this example, how God has redeemed his servant. God has brought them back into the land, their promised land. God has brought them back out of the captivity, setting up his sign, even calling together all these under it, that he might open the ear, open the eye, and let them know that he is God, and this is his work. He has done all this. He declared it. He made it. And he is accomplishing that which he set out to do. 14, in righteousness shall you be established. Be you far from oppression, for you shall not fear, and from ruin, for it shall not come near you. In righteousness and judgment shall you be established. See, this is how it's done. For you are far from oppression, because God has delivered you. God has brought you back out. God is doing this. He's calling you. He's pouring out understanding on you. You make yourself willingly, with joy and gladness, obedient to his commandments, his statutes, his ordinances. 15, behold, they may gather together, but not by me. Whosoever shall gather together against you shall fall because of you. See, because the Lord has given his servant understanding in the beginning, and he shut his mouth, because this is the only way it is. See, and he's brought him forth like a lamb to be slaughtered. He's brought him forth now, but we're going to find out that God delivers. See, God delivers his servant, because God's already provided that thing. God has already provided for us even the example. 16, behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the fire of coals, and bringeth forth a weapon for his work. I have created the waster to destroy. God did this, see, and it's a magnificent work. See, God done this. And that's why he did it, to show himself mighty, to show himself magnificent. And this all goes back to Jericho. See, it all goes back to Jericho, the first city, and we remember Achan took that devoted thing from Jericho. Achan had to be punished. But more than that, see, it goes back to Jericho, because this was all a work of God too. God did this so that we could have understanding. God has created the waster to destroy. See, God made it. And he told them when they destroyed Jericho, he said, you shall not rebuild this city. It is going to cost you your eldest and your youngest if you build this city again. And they did build the city again, see. But we understand now that the walls of Jericho have to come down, because this is what it's about. 17, no weapon that is formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against you in judgment you shall condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their due reward from me, saith the Lord. Because in the end, and the bottom line, and when the rubber hits the road, here's what it means. God did this, and there is no other. God did this, and he has shown himself magnificent in all the earth, and every knee shall bow unto God. God gave you the law, and this is the covenant that he made with you in the beginning. And this covenant is everlasting from generation to generation, and it shall not be done away with. And every one that stands against this cannot stand. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their due reward. See, this is what you receive. There's no weapon formed against that can prosper. Why? Because, see, God has given knowledge. God has given understanding. There's no, and this weapon, what is this weapon? Well, this weapon for his work. See, God made the smith. See, God made the carpenter. They took that which was God. These are those things that they have imputed over into it. They made an image, see, and it was magnificent. The cunning craftsman which God has chosen. All right, let's move on. We're moving on. We're going to chapter 55.